Welcome back for another book review. Today we are talking about this little one. It's not as small as last week's. Last week's, remember this tiny one? We've upgraded. It's still small though. This is, I love the title, to be honest. The title was really fun. Sounds fake, but okay. And apparently it's a podcast. I've never listened to it, but apparently it's by the same name. An asexual and aromantic perspective on love, relationships, sex, and pretty much anything else by Sarah, and again these last names are gonna be wrong, Costello, maybe? And Kayla something that I'm gonna mispronounce. These lovely ladies, I don't know how to say their names, but this one. So this book, it kind of discusses asexuality. It has a heavy emphasis on the aromantic side of things, and they kind of meandered through a variety of topics, kind of. I gave it a 3. It's pretty meh. It's not my thing. And I had high hopes, and they were crushed, but I've read worse, so I was like, eh. So this book, it's not my favorite writing style to begin with. It's very like extended blog post, or like where you like, okay, this is specific for content creators, but like where you have like a vague script. Like it's not something you're reading off like a teleprompter, but like you got a vague idea of what you're gonna say, but like you kind of, like what I do. I literally have bullet points of things that I want to make sure I talk about, because I'm not gonna read a script. I can't even read my own books. Like, that's why my audiobooks take so long. I cannot read out loud to save my life. But it's kind of like those scripts where it's like, it's just an extended blog post meandering thing. And that's not my favorite when I come to books. I kind of would like you to have a little more organization to your thought process and a little bit more professionalism, not so casual. Not my favorite. And really, it's just this weird conversation kind of vibe that you're sitting through, and it feels like, me and my husband talked about it, and it's like, it feels like the demisexual side of this book, which is, I think it was Kayla was the demisexual one, and I feel like she was about 20% of the book, and the other 80% is about aromantic specifically. And they have some serious chip on the shoulder. And again, I don't know if it's both of them. I kind of feel like it's more Sarah, to be honest. I don't know. But there's an obvious chip on the shoulder in reading this. How dare anyone ever want a like standard normal life that most people are going to do? It's one of those, like, you ever realize that like you are in an echo chamber and sometimes you need to go get some fresh air, because that's how this book was feeling. Because most people, the average person, is going to want to get married, have a house or some stable living condition, and have a couple kids at least. That's pretty standard. That is the majority of the entire human population. People are going to want to couple up, have a stable living space, whether it's a house or a condo or a townhome, whatever. Not everyone wants to own a home, but you want a stable space. You're not like wanting to couch surf while you have a kid, and then you're gonna want to have kids. At least a couple, usually. Sometimes you stop at one, sometimes you want more, and then sometimes you don't. But that's also still not the norm. The norm exists, and it's not a bad thing. It's okay. It's okay to do what's standard. It's okay to do what most people do, it's fine. But like, the chip on the shoulder, and they keep getting away of like, we're not saying it's wrong, but, and it's like, you can't add the but. Like, just, you could say something, but if you immediately say something afterwards that detracts that every single time, that first part doesn't matter. And that's how it felt. And as somebody who's happily married and is planning to have kids and wants a house, I don't want a white picket fence, because those are a pain. Most of them aren't wood anymore. They're vinyl, and they suck. But like, that's not the point. But it was just like every single time you're like, oh my god, dude, if that's not for you, that's fine, but maybe we could have labeled it different. Because if it was an aromantic book, I wouldn't have picked it up. Or I would have had a very different like perspective going into this. But no, I figured it'd be pretty balanced. Nah. It's aromantic, And then, again, just a little sprinkle once in a while for demisexual. If you don't know what that is, it means you need to have an emotional connection to someone before you feel physical, or not physical, but sexual attraction towards the person. Whereas aromantic, you don't want relationships, and like specifically romantic relationships, hence the name. And also asexual, you don't want a sexual relationship. Basically, you have to reconstruct how your relationships will be, because you're not going to have traditional ones, which is fine if that's what it was about. But it's like not at all. And again, just this really bias the whole time. And it's like, I am ace. For the most part, I don't really care what other people do. Like, I happily support all of the letters and the allies, so long as you're not douchebags. I really don't care. But, like, I don't know, it felt very, like, I don't know, you can just tell people are super sensitive, and that's how this came across. And really, the majority of this book, it's not written for the reader, it's written for them just to talk about their experience, which is fine, but again, it could have been polished up better. And again, I hold books that are published through publishing houses to a higher standard. You should have a lot more people involved. So I judge them harsher, and this is from a publishing house, so I'm judging it harsher. Cause like, where was the editor? You know, like, where was the scrimping it down, making a point? This, if it was self-published, it'd be like, it's not bad, but you have room to improve. Where a publishing house, I expect more. Honestly, to be perfectly frank, I think they got the book deal because they have a big podcast, and that's it. And it's kind of sucks that it's like, if you just have a big enough following, you'll just get a book deal. And it's like, great. Not all of us authors who are, you know, went to college for it, doing it, whatever. It's fine. Not bitter at all. Because it doesn't really add anything to the conversation, to be honest. Like, there's better ones. The one I talked about last week, and I Am Ace, so much better than this on the topic. And he goes into his experience too. Cody, I think was his name, for I Am Ace, really goes into it, but also remembers the reader is here for them. These kinds of books, it's not a memoir. We're not here for your story. We're here for us, the reader. I mean, it sounds mean, but that's the same thing with the Witchcraft books. I don't really care about your experience. Like, how is it going to apply to me, the reader? And if you're just meandering about yourself, I really don't care. Sometimes it's fine. Little bits here and there, it's whatever. But like, the whole thing? Nah. It's not for me. So the only people I would recommend this book to are a very specific type of people. So you need to already kind of have a grasp on what aromantic and asexual is, as well as demisexual, really the whole ace spectrum. You need to have an idea. At least a like intermediate-ish understanding. It doesn't take too terribly long to get the hang of it, to be honest, but you do need to know, because it's not going to be very explained. Ever, really. So you need to have a good understanding before you jump in. And then specifically, I think the target age for this is like high school, early college. Like 22 is probably going to be like pushing it for too old for this book, because it is written for that very niche, tiny little time in your life where you want to, like, that's when a lot of us go in through our like activism stage. Typically, if you go to like college, you're typically gonna have something that's gonna be the thing you want to battle for. Some people continue it for the rest of their lives and they become activists full time. Great, that's what you want to do? Cool, we need you to do your thing. But a lot of us don't. A lot of us do it for a little bit and then we go on with our lives and move into careers and parenting and relationships and whatever. And so it feels like it's just very niche, and it's very like college type conversations. And I say that because like there's just a very particular vibe when you're in college. And I don't know if it's at every college, but pretty much everyone I've ever talked to who is in college, especially young, not go back when you're old, young college, like there's a specific kind of like, we are going to be revolutionizing the world and we know big words and we're gonna use them and we're gonna use all the things. And it's a very, very, very loud echo chamber. And you also kind of just need to be prepared for that vibe the whole time. Because, like, again, very anti-norm And it's like, that's fine. But like, you're gonna leave a lot of people behind. So it's not my favorite at all. Again, I am ace, and the one we talked about last week, asexual, much better. So anyways, I would love to know if you have any other ace books that you like, or your favorite queer witchcraft books. I do plan to read those next year. I just have to buy them throughout the year because they don't have them at the library, like, at all. Not even a little bit. So I'm going to buy some. I am slowly making a list. Maybe, oh my god, that would be expensive but fun. What if next year for Pride, I could have like a majority of the books we talk about be like queer witchcraft? That would be pretty cool. So if we start the list now, yeah. Anyways, let me know in the comments down below. A huge thank you to my patrons. If you would like to support me and get access to exclusive content, it's patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day. And until next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.